So this is the site we are building today. That character moving as I scroll. That is not a background video. That is 300 separate images, swapped one by one, tied straight to your scroll bar. And by the end of this, you will know exactly how I made it. And before we start, this is ScrollTide, my own library. If you just want this exact build, the ready to paste prompt is right here, done for you. You copy it, you paste it into your builder, and it goes live. There are 50 plus templates in there now, all scroll driven, all with the source files included. Link is in the description, the very first one. Okay, let us build. First, I need a reference. Because it does most of the work, so I search Pinterest for futuristic hero sections. And I like this one. This futuristic neurotech interface, orange, high contrast, one strong character right in the middle of the frame. That is exactly the direction I want to go. So I open ChatGPT, upload that reference, and say, create this landing page and keep it straight. And here is the result. It rebuilt the entire composition, the type, the layout, the side panels, all of it. It came out in the wrong shape though, so I just say make the aspect ratio 16:9. Now this next prompt is the actual trick of the whole video. Remove the components from this page and give me only the character from this image and remove everything else. And there she is. Just the character on the orange gradient, nothing else left on the canvas at all. I want her slightly larger in frame, so I say make the character a bit bigger and a little broader. That is better. And I download this one because this single image is what the entire website gets built from. Now I need motion. But here is the thing, I do not write the video prompt myself. I open a new chat and make it write the prompt for me. Add subtle motion, moving her head, rotating it left and right, a few small movements. And look what comes back, a full structured prompt with lighting, background and animation style and no camera shake or morphing. And at the bottom a loop version written specifically for a scroll site, which is exactly my use case here. So I go to Gemini, upload the character and paste that prompt straight in. And this bit is worth knowing. Gemini hands you two versions to compare, so you are never stuck with the first thing it happens to make. Both are ready now, and one of them is clearly better than the other. So I take this one. Now there is a watermark sitting on it, and most people just live with that. You do not have to. I search Gemini Watermark Remover, upload it, wait a few seconds, and download a clean file with no watermark and the quality completely untouched. Now the important part, and this is where the scroll animation actually comes from. I need this video as individual still images. So I search video to JPG converter and the one I use is Ezgif. Upload the clean file there. My video is 10 seconds. Size stays original and I set the frame rate to 30. 10 seconds at 30 frames a second gives me exactly 300 images. Remember that number. I download them all as a zip and unzip it. And now I have a folder holding 300 images in order, first frame right through to the last. I also grab that full layout image from earlier, because that goes to the builder as a visual reference. Now Claude Code, first thing it does is write a Claude.md file. The instructions it reads every time. And here is my prompt. We wish to create this hero section with a scroll animation. The frames are in this folder. Firstly only the hero section and the hero should remain for the first 60 frames only. Then the next section comes in and add these components from the reference image I shared. And stay till the end of this one because the last 4 minutes are where the whole thing broke. And that is the first result. The hero is live. The character animates on scroll panels on the right. There is nothing underneath it yet though, So for the next section, I go straight back to Pinterest. Same orange world, same agency style, plenty of structure to work from. And this is why that 300 mattered. The hero is pinned and it owns frames 1 to 60. Then it hands off and the other 240 keep playing behind the next section. They never freeze. So I say this should come in the next section for the frames from 61 to 120. One problem, the new components are sitting right on her face. So put them around the character instead. And if you are still watching this far in, you are in the small group who actually go and build these things instead of just collecting tutorials and never opening them. That is much better. The meta strip, the three pillars underneath it, and the ticker running along the bottom. All of it clear of her face now. Back to Pinterest for the next section, and this is the one people rewatch. This typography treatment, huge condensed caps, one single word set in italic serif, and the character sitting right behind the type. So I hand that over and ask for the next stretch of frames. And while it builds, notice what this workflow actually is. You find a reference, you describe it in plain words. You hand over the frames and you let it write the code. I have not opened a code editor once in this entire video, and I am not going to. And look what it does with it. Anton for the heavy condensed caps, Playfair Display italic for the word without, both pulled off Google Fonts automatically. And the animation, all four display words wipe in from their outer edges, pulling toward the center as she is revealed underneath. And all of it is scrubbed by scroll, so it runs backwards if you scroll back up. Now for the next stretch I want something more alive. So make a circular card grid using Framer motion, square cards rotating around the circumference as I scroll down. And one line that matters far more than it sounds. The cards must not cover her face. Leave that out and it will park one straight across her and the whole shot is dead. And honestly, this one surprised me. Everything the cortex is saying at once. Live numbers orbiting clear of her face. The cards are small though, and the glass is so transparent the numbers fight the orange behind them. So bigger and more opacity. Nobody tells you this. The prompt is easy. Spotting what is wrong is the skill. And there it is. Let me take the whole thing from the top so you can see where we actually are. Hero, then the redesign section, the big typography, the rotating cards. Every thought leaves a signature with the live stats underneath and the cortical mapping row. That is most of a full site already. Two more passes, it flips the cards from translucent glass to nearly solid white and scales them up about 20% so they read instantly. And at the very start and end of the rotation they were clipping off the edge. So I get that fixed as well. Now the footer. Same approach as everything else in this video. Straight back to Pinterest and I just type orange. Then scroll until something in the right word turns up. No cleverness to it, that is genuinely the whole method. And this one is perfect. That glowing brand name. So I say build the footer like this reference for the final set of frames and remove the other components. So the site starts and ends exactly on the first and last frame of the video. That last instruction is the one people skip and it matters. Without it, you end up with a site that keeps scrolling after the animation has already finished and it feels broken even when technically nothing is. The scroll and the footage have to end together on the same frame. Get that right and the whole thing feels deliberate instead of accidental. And no, that is not a footer. That is a full screen black slab covering the entire page. And as I scroll toward the very end, the last section just disappears completely. Two things wrong at once. So I tell it exactly that. The footer is not loading properly and it is appearing full screen. And this next bit is the most useful part of the video. So stay with me here. Closer. The cards are back and the section renders properly now. But that footer is still very much wrong. And here is what was actually going on. The footer panel was pinned to the viewport, but it only lined up correctly once it was already stuck. On the approach, it was sitting halfway up the screen, which is exactly why it read as a black slab. And the animations were being driven off the section progress, so the reveal was already half finished before the panel had even arrived on screen. Two separate bugs wearing the same costume, which is exactly why the first fix did not hold. It was only ever treating one of them. Then it says something I did not expect. The first fix it gave me was not a fix at all. It was a workaround. It had been fading the heading out across the broken area instead of solving the clipping underneath. So it strips out its own patch and fixes the real cause. And there it is. The footer loads and the last frame lands exactly as the page runs out. One last thing, and this is what fixed the entire look of the site. Look closely, the frames are soft and blocky because the export I pulled out of the converter was compressed. So I hand over the original video file and ask for the frames again, properly this time. And it re-extracts all 300 straight from the source. Same site, same code, completely different level of finish. If your scroll site ever looks a bit cheap, this is almost always the reason. And that is the full build. A Pinterest reference, one image, one video, 300 frames, and a scroll site. If you want this exact one, the ready to paste prompt is on ScrollTide. Link in the description. Subscribe, I do one of these every week. See you in the next one.